With no rehearsal, learn quickly they'll come for your blow. Games they play can't take it personal.
Cause the devil is a lie. Hey, I'm telling you the truth. Hey, it's all in what you do. Hey, some things you gotta do. Hey, 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 hey. Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. So, you know, I want to make this video because there's some stories that will never get told because it doesn't make news or anything like that. But I was on the I was about a couple hours ago. I was just calling Sam Watson just to check up on him because I don't see him as often as I used to. I see him 10 times a month now. I'm lucky if I see him once every other month, with COVID and all that. And I was just doing a welfare check on Sam Watson just to check on him, see how he's doing, make sure everything is good, on the up and up, nothing big. And he told me that Fred Hurd passed away. And it blew my mind, because, real vibrant man. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I had a great relationship with Mr. Hurd or anything like that. But every time I went to Baltimore or the DMV area, Mr. Hurd was always with Sam Watson. They loved each other, man. They were cool. They did their whole ticket thing and had a good time. And you know what I mean? And you guys know any chance I get to hang out with Sam Watson, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. And I'm gonna talk about one night in particular. It was the Jarrett Hurd J Rock fight. It was a Friday night, and and you guys know this just being on my channel. "We Are One" for me by Frank Beverly and Mays is a top 10 song for me. And um, we had a chance to go to that concert, and I just remember Mr. Hurd being funny, man, like so youthful, so vibrant, man. And he and his wife went, Mrs. Hurd, and we actually sat um, on the first row on the stage. So I actually had a chance to meet Maxine Waters and Frank Beverly and Mays and all those guys, and but just hanging out with Mr. Hurd, man, was a good guy, and he always, no matter how much fun we were having, he always took care of his wife, man. And he always made sure like she was seated in the right place and brought her food or whatever the case may be. And I remember that about him. And 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 why I want to do this video is because I see a lot of that in Jarrett Hurd. And I know we can go back and forth on, is he a good fighter, bad fighter, wins and losses, but the character of the kid, and I don't know what went on with them, but I'll say this: Ernesto, Flick, and Jarrett Hurd consistently invited me to their camp when they were on the undercard of Wilder. I went to the camp. When I flew out by myself to the Gary Russell fight, they invited me to their gym. Just upstand. I haven't had a chance to meet Coach K, so I can't speak on him. But Ernesto, Flick, and Jarrett Hurd, and has always been upstanding people as it pertains to allowing me to cover them. And I just wanted to offer my condolences to the Hurd family. I don't know them too well. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm their best friend or anything like that, but the content that I have of the one-on-one stuff with Team Hurd is because of the trust of Jarrett Hurd, Flick, and Ernesto. And I just want to say thank you. I just want to say blessings to your family. Your father was a fun guy, man. Oh, I hung out with him so much, at least about 5 or 6 times, man, with Sam, and they talking over each other, and but that night, man, because that's a Hall of Fame night for me, because y'all know how I feel about, if you've been fucking with me since day one on this channel, you know how I feel about "We Are One." You know, I mean, that song means a great deal to me. And I had the pleasure of meeting Frank Beverly and Mays and Maxine Waters that evening, because I sat on the stage with Mr. and Mrs. Hurd, and Sam Watson and everybody else. And so blessings to the Hurd family, man. If anybody out there has an address, feel free to, I'm not going to reach out to Jarrett Hurd. I have his contact information, all that. But if anyone's out there, has his contact, just DM me at Silent Heroes, and we'll gladly send flowers to the family. And But yeah, and the last time I don't think it's the last time I spoke to him, but my last interview with him was very man like, very grown man shit. I had it cute, and it's I'm not gonna sit here and say I knew what was going on inside the camp or anything like that. I'm not speaking on none of that. But the fact that he held his son accountable, the fact that he held his son accountable. This was the one of the last interviews I had with Mr. Hurd. And
See one in it, it don't take anything from J-Rock. J-Rock came the way he's supposed to come and got what he came to get. That's them 3 belts. But I promise everybody that's listening, he will be back to get his shit.
he will be back to get his shit. I don't want to play the whole interview. Feel free to Google it. You see the title on the channel. But the fact that in the storm, the biggest storm of their life on the professional ranks, he still was gracious enough and honest enough to give J-Rock his credit and say, J-Rock did what he came to do. And that was a tough night for J-Rock. J Hurd. And I saw him when he left the arena, heartbroken. And first time being knocked down, I believe. And, he just had a rough night. He just had a rough night that night, And I just want to, on behalf of the barbershop and everyone in it, I just want to say, Jarrett Hurd, we appreciate you, man. To the Hurd family, we appreciate you. Thank you for lending your father to us, man. And that night will live in the Hawthorne family forever, because We Are One is one of my greatest songs ever. And I had a chance to hear it live and meet Frank Beverly and Mays with Mr. Hurd, Mr. and Mrs. Hurd, and the Sam Watson crew. We'll call it the Sam Watson crew. I wasn't the only one fortunate enough to hang out with Sam Watson that evening. But yeah, man. Condolences to your family, Jarrett Hurd. And if anybody has an address out there, just feel free to DM me. You see it in the corner, Silent Heroes. And the barbershop would be glad to send them some flowers. But thank you, Jarrett Hurd. Thank you for always being the gentleman. I know you had some rough times coming, man, and you was looking good. And I want to say this too. I finally saw a gleam in Jarrett Hurd's eye, and I actually DM'd him. I said, he's back, and I was so happy for the kid, man. I was so happy, man. He's very humble. He started talking shit again. He's talking to Charlo, and I was like, yeah, he's back, man. He's back. And I was happy. He was kind of like a turtle, in and out, and he finally got his footing. And I wish him well. I know he's in camp now. It looks like he lost about 20, 30 pounds. I watch every last one of his stories. And, we love you over here. And, I know we talk a lot of shit, and I'm talker shit number one. I'll never, ever lose sight of the humanity of us as humans, And blessings to your family, Jarrett Hurd. And your dad was a good guy to me. He was honest to me, and we had a great time that Friday night before your fight, man. That Friday before the Jarrett Hurd J-Rock fight, we had a great time. We hung out for about 6 hours. We had a great time. So anyways, man, appreciate you, man. Jarrett Hurd, blessings to your family. Thank you, Ernesto, I think it was because of Ernesto that I met Jarrett Hurd. And thank you to that team. And yeah, blessings to your family, Jay Hurd. And Barbershop Conversations. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.